In our Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, it is said, Brahma vidapnoti param tadesha bhukta satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. So our God in our culture is considered as Brihat. That's why his name is Brahma. Brihat means ever expansive, vast, infinite. And what is its nature? What is the definition of the God of Sanatana Dharma? It says Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. These are the three descriptions given for God. Very scientific, very precise. And who gave this description? Brahma vidapnoti param. Those who have attained that state of Brahman, those who have experienced the state of divine consciousness, they said this. Tad esha abhyukta. What is it? Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. These are the three things, three qualities of that nature of divinity. And Satyam, we know, it's truth. Truth means it's ever existent. Untruth is that which is dependent or non existent without a truth. For example, I am a mother is dependent on you being a woman. A man cannot be a mother. So your truth is you are a woman. Untruth is, or the dependent truth is, I am a mother. But you could not have been the mother before being a woman. So that is the idea of Satyam. You could not be this human without being divine. That is the idea of Satyam. How do you infer that? If I exist, if I breathe, if I experience things, it means I have that divinity within me which makes me experience all these things. You may say, oh, that's biology, that's not divinity. And the medical students will say that's pure medicine, how the biology works. But our rishis don't agree. They say, beyond all that physical that you have, chakshuscha chakshuhu, shrotrascha shrotraha, there is a ear to the ear, eye to the eye. There is something inside us which is the reason why we experience everything. And because of that, we experience the world. That's how we have identities. So it says that you are human because you are divine. If you are not divine in the first place, you can't be having a human experience in the second. So that is the idea of Satyam. Human existence is dependent existence on the divinity which is the original existence. That is the idea of Satyam. And Yanam. Yanam means knowledge. That is aware that it is divine. See, all of us are also divine only. That's what the scriptures are saying, but we are not aware. We are like those who have lost the wallet in the house somewhere. Now we are poor. If we are aware where we have kept the wallet, we are rich again. So likewise, we have lost this knowledge that we are divine. The one who has that knowledge is Brahman, or the one who lives in that state of Brahman. So knowledge is the second thing. And what is the knowledge our scriptures say? Only this knowledge that you are divine is the real knowledge. All other knowledge, science, maths, chemistry, English, all that is not real knowledge, it says. The real knowledge is that you are divine, and all other knowledge is dependent on it. For example, for a goldsmith, gold is the real knowledge. Rings, chains, bangles, all ornaments are dependent. They have come out of this knowledge of how to use that gold well. So that is how our knowledge of being divine is the true knowledge, and that divinity knows that it is divine. No need to tell it. So that is the second aspect. The third aspect is Anantam. Its existence is infinite. It's not bound by time, place, or situation. Like we are bound by that. We can be only in this place at this time. We can't be another place at the same time. We are bound by situations. We behave according to situations. All three things bind us, but to that divinity there is no binding. Anantam, it is infinite. And for those who are novices in the field of spirituality, they'll find it very difficult to understand what I am trying to say. Because you will say, what kind of divinity is that? How does it exist? How do we experience it if it exists? So how do I know it exists? These are the questions one should ask. Okay, the Brahman exists. The sage has said it exists. It exists in these three ways. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. That is, Satyam means it never changes. It is not dependent on another thing. Jnanam means it is aware of itself. And third, Anantam, it's infinite. Now these three things I don't experience all the time. Because today I am a student, tomorrow I will become a teacher. My Satyam has changed. Today I am in 6th class, next year I will be in 7th class. My Satyam changed. Today I am a bachelor, tomorrow I will be a married man. My Satyam changed. Today I am a happy man, tomorrow I will be a miserable man. My Satyam changed. Everything changes for us. So that cannot be Satyam. Jnanam, we are not at all aware of so much about ourselves. Many of our qualities we are not aware of. Many of our ideas we are not aware of. We suddenly become aware and suddenly we forget about it. How many things we have learned since our childhood? Do we remember all that knowledge? It's all gone. It remains till the examination hall. Once we cross, knowledge also disappears. So, where is this awareness and knowledge? Disappears from our mind. So, that knowledge is not real because it disappears. It can't be divine. Anantam. Is that knowledge capable of explaining everything? Anantam, does it have infinity as its quality? No. It's finite. It's limited to a certain situation or a subject or a particular field of discussion. So all that we are experiencing and doing like this, it's not Brahman. That is what our scriptures are saying. So will my degree get me to know Brahman? No, obviously not. Because you're climbing the wrong wall. How will it get you Brahman? Will my awareness of my self as a handsome young man and strong and beautiful lady, will that make me realize Brahman? No, because you are only aware of your dependent existence. That is untruth. So likewise, neti neti, our scriptures will negate everything. That is why every day you chant, right? Adi Shankaracharya's Nirvana Shatakam, do you chant? Do you understand that? I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the senses, I am not all the components of the body, I am not emotions, I am not born, I don't have a father, I don't have mother. Imagine if you write all these things in your exam. That's what Shankaracharya is saying. No? I don't have a father. I was never born. I don't die. I'm not bound by the rules, dharma, artha, kama. Even moksha is not my asking. Because I'm ever free. What a lofty idea of one's existence. Sounds almost unbelievable or even paradoxical to all that we experience in this world. But these sages have experienced something amazing. And they've tried to explain, but there is only so much can be done. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. By definition, that state is inexplainable. You can't use words to explain it. Like you can explain somebody who has never eaten a sweet, you can, and you don't have a sweet with you to feed him. You can tell it is not salty, it is not spicy, it is not tangy, it is not whatever, whatever. But can you ever explain what is sweet? You can't. If you write the spelling, will you understand SWEET is sweet? Will you understand the taste of sweet? No. Unless he puts a piece of sweet on his tongue, boy will never know. Like that, this Rishi said, I want to explain to you the nature of that divinity. Unfortunately, words fail. Words are not sufficient. You have to experience it only to know what I am talking. That's what the Rishi leaves it at that. Na vidmo na vijano nimo ki yathaitat anushishyat. The Guru says, I don't know how to teach you this. So I will leave it that this is a beautiful state of Satyam, Yanam, Anantam. You have to experience it for yourself. Advaita is my favorite topic. If you start me off on that, I can go on even after a long journey of the whole day. I can go on for another 4 hours if you start me off on Advaita. It is my dearest topic and most favorite because that is the only truth. Rest all I am speaking is untruth only. Even the idea of a society or service, all these are dependent on that original idea of divinity. So if you talk about divinity, I am very happy. With O Nanna Chetana, Aguni Aniketana. Chetana is already Aniketana, but the poet is being, emphatic, trying to remind us of our existence, which is infinite. We're not bound and limited by these body, mind, emotions, success, failure, happiness, sorrow. None of these actually is our nature. That's what the poet is saying. This is the reason why we started paravidya classes in our schools. I said something of the sound of this truth should go into the ears of our kids. They can't just finish their education as ignorant fellows in spiritual terms. It will be a sad state of affairs. It would be a disservice if in our institution also they have never heard of a truth like this. That would be a very sad state of affairs. That is what I was telling the Hassan campus people also. They're doing academically very well. I'm very happy. But do they understand even a bit of all these things? Swalpamapyasya. At least little of it? No? Then I'm not happy. They have to understand this truth. At least theoretically they should know. We all know theoretically so many things, right? We all know that Earth is all the time rotating, right? Do we experience it? We don't experience it. But somebody said it, now there are scientific proofs. Now somebody went to the space, clicked the video and sent us saying this is how it works. We believe it. A lot of things we don't experience with our senses, but we believe it because there has to be a logic to it. That's how it is. A mendicant, a monk who belongs to another religion, and he was asking me, in our religion, there is no concept of God. We don't believe there is a single God or any number of gods. How do you explain? I said, nothing can come out without an origin. There has to be an origin to everything. That origin is what we consider as God. You may consider as a huge big bang of gases, and that may be your way of explaining. But we believe behind that there is this source. Because the whole universe has come out of nothing. Scientists are telling that. Can you tell me where the gases came from, which became liquid, which became solid over, I don't know how many hundreds of billions of years? But where was the origin of it? They say nothing was there, and one day there was a bang. Bang happens also, something should be there to cause that bang. How can something come out of nothing? So that is the idea we keep. Our scientists have gone back, and Aitreya Upanishad talks about the whole generation of the universe, and very scientifically it talks about it. Of course, poetically, so sometimes it is confusing, but also scientifically, step by step, it tells. All this we have studied during the COVID times. So those who were there, fortunate enough, and those who are even more fortunate to remember and retain that, they would appreciate what I am saying. But this knowledge is what we want to impart to our students. I said you can learn all these subjects in a million schools in India. They will teach you the same science, same maths, same social, same whatever. If we are here only teaching that, then how are we different from those 1 million schools? There should be a reason why we exist. There should be a uniqueness to our existence for the purpose for which we have come into existence. And our purpose of existence is to teach this greater truth alongside the lesser truth or the dependent truth of subjects. If that doesn't happen, then I'm not interested in the schools and colleges. I told very clearly to everyone. If you are not doing this, why should we run another primary or higher secondary school or a senior school or even a medical college? Why should we run? There are a million people running the same thing, and they're producing the same dependent, knowledgeable persons. They only know about the world but not about its original truth. Then why should we run these institutions? Our people should teach our students, even if little they understand. Sri Krishna says, Svalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even you little of this knowledge, if you know it, it absolves you, it redeems you of greatest of the fears. The biggest fear in life is what? Death. It removes that fear of death from you. Vasansi jirnani yatha vihaya. For us, death is just a vesture. We just change bodies, our soul remains. That is the scriptural truth. So it removes the fear of death. And if you're not afraid of death, what can you be afraid of? You are fearless. You are that Vedantic lion, Vedanta Kesari. No fear after that. You can take any amount of risk. When people ask me, why are you taking all this risk? Well, I have no fear. Fear comes from the idea of I and mine. This body is me. This body is mine. If it goes, then I will lose something. That is fear. Or anything, a pen you lose, or a friend you lose, or you lose a property or some money. Everything is because there is an attachment to it, I and mine. For consciousness, there is no attachment. It is unhoused. It has no belongingness. It doesn't belong to anyone. Therefore, there is freedom. Therefore, there is no fear. So, are you not afraid tomorrow? How are you going to eat if you don't earn, if you don't have a house, if you don't have friends or relatives, if you fall sick, who is going to look after you? For that person who is totally surrendered or fearless or selfless, the universe is there to look after them. Somehow or the other, magically things work for them. There is a great consciousness at work. But it doesn't interfere if you are taking charge of your own life. It doesn't touch you. It says, take care of yourself. I'm not here to look after you because you are very willing to look after yourself. So take care of yourself. The moment you become selfless and fearless, that universal power, that consciousness starts taking care of you. That is freedom. That freedom is the ultimate state, Anantam. Freedom is infinite. Does freedom have a beginning, middle, and end? No. Freedom is freedom. All the time you are free. Being bound has a beginning, middle, and end. Once you are bound, now you become free. Next you bound again. Or for such a long time you will be bound. But freedom has no beginning or end. It is always there. So the one who lives like that, Adi Shankara beautifully says, Kasya sukham na karoti viragaha. The one who is viragi, unattached, unhoused, aniketana, how can he not be happy? Adi Shankaracharya argues. Suramandir taru mula nivasaha shayya bhutala ajinam vasaha sarva parigraha bhogatyagaha kasya sukham na karoti viragaha. The one who makes the sky as his roof and earth as his floor, who sleeps in the temples and wears the bark of a tree as his clothes, who has given up the idea of accumulating, amassing, hoarding, hiding. How can such a detached person not be happy? Adi Shankaracharya says. We will say he is the exact person who should not be happy. No house, no clothes, no money, no friends, no address, no nothing. How can he be happy? Because our understanding of happiness is if all these things are there, then one can be happy. But Adi Shankara argues ulta. He says, how can one not be happy if one has given up all these things? This is a very deep thought. It doesn't come to everybody. Because patratvam yogyate irbeko. You should be deserving of knowing this truth. हिंदी में बोलते ना भैंस के आगे बीन बजाना भैंस नहीं नाचेगी बीन सुन के सांप नाचेगा So telling this to some unprepared, uncultured, unspiritual soul is not going to make a difference on that. It's like rain falling on a rock. Nothing is going to grow out of it. So to prepare you to be deserving, to prepare you to develop an understanding, a hunger, a yearning, inquisitiveness to know the truth, all this paravidya and all that half a day of effort. I know with this paravidya, by mugging up a few shlokas, no wisdom is going to dawn. That I know. But what it would do to you, it will create a sense of curiosity and inquisitiveness, some kind of a preparedness. So that one day in this process, you are evolved enough to grasp the truth. For that, all these efforts are being made, nothing else. Okay, somebody's come from Purva Janma Samskaras, may catch the truth like this. Is a dry wood, it will catch fire like this. For others, they have to dry, it takes some process. This process of drying the mind of all the vasanas and samskaras is the process of spiritual studies, paravidya or seva or whatever other activities. That's why it is an integral part of our system. Because the goal of all life is freedom. Infinite freedom is the goal of all life. Nobody wants to be bound. One day I was playing with an ant. These ants have a sense of direction. They have some sense of smell. With this, they go. They don't look around. They just follow. So I was trying to put my foot and stop and confuse the ant. This way, that way. Many of you would have done that, tortured an ant like this when you were small. The poor ant, every time I put the foot down, it will try to find a way. Again, it will go back to the same scent track. Again, I'll put my hand there, it will go around and again start walking towards that. Sometimes put my hand down, it crawled over me and then got down and started walking towards the same scent. So determined to go that way only. You try to give another option, it's not taking. I was so inspired by looking at that ant. I said, if only we had that kind of determination to reach our goal, come what may in our lives, all of us would have been divine by now. That determination in the ant to reach where it wants to reach. Shurasya dhara nishita duratyaya durgam patastat kavayo vadanti. Still, uttishtata jagrata prapyavarani bodhata. Don't give up, whatever be the difficulties. My worry is that in this world of 8 billion plus people, I believe 25-30% have become atheists. They don't believe in the idea that God exists. So they are not even eligible to hear this because they don't even believe that it exists. What will you talk to them? Bahas ke aage? No need. So leave them. Then there are those people who belong to other sects and religions and philosophies which either don't believe that there is a source to everything. They believe in nihilism or shunyavadis. They don't believe that exists. Then there are those who believe there is only one type of God exists. And most of their portraits is an old man with a long beard. God's picture. But God is Anantam. When did he become old? He's ageless. So I don't understand. Like this, you keep coming down, there are very few who are even capable of understanding, grasping the truth. Because of conditioning, because of their upbringing, because of the inputs that they've received, they cannot believe that God can be like this. God is like thought of as a judge sitting in some high up heaven, pronouncing judgments, consigning people to hell and heaven. That's all he does all day. But our idea of God is not like that. Our idea of God is so liberating. He's not judgmental. He doesn't punish or reward. Nadatte kasyachit papam na chaiva shukratam vibhuh. I don't give sin or merit to anybody, says Krishna. It's your own doing. You suffer because you did wrong. You enjoy because you did the right things. I don't do anything. Ajnanena avritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantava. Because of your ignorance, you are confused and you are blaming me. I am not responsible for it. No, teacher is not responsible for what marks you got. Whatever you wrote, the teacher will give that marks accordingly. Like that. God is impartial. So this idea of God sitting, judging, all this is not our idea of God. Our idea of God is that idea of infinity. Infinite freedom, infinite wisdom, infinite existence. Free from all these bounds of body, mind, and mine, and thine, and limitedness. So this idea of Aniketana, poet Kuvempu, I went there, I stood in front of the wall for like 10 minutes, watching the poem and reading the translation. I can't read and understand Kannada so much, but the English translation was there to come to my rescue. But these words stuck with me, that you do not belong anywhere, or you belong everywhere, whichever way you think. That is your existence. Worrying about yourself, your family, your kid, your wife, your husband, your so limited, so limited. Animals also do that, isn't it? Those who watch National Geographic and all that, you'll know how animal kingdom works. They're so overprotective about their progeny, their community, or whatever, their pack. We are also doing the same thing, saving money for our kids, our family, our retirement, our death. What different are we? That's where these scriptural truths come as lightning in the dark, thunderbolt. Suddenly everything becomes bright. Vidyullekha is what is called in our scriptures. This knowledge flashes like the bolt from the blue, like a lightning, and suddenly everything becomes visible in the dark. These are those lightning ideas which have captured the imagination of great seers and sages and poets like Kuvempu. Kuvempu, though, started off as a very social poet and even little romantic also, but eventually ended up in such spiritual ideas, because all through his life he's explored life, and he's gone through this principle of neti neti. He didn't find fulfillment in writing this or that or this or that. Finally he found his fulfillment only by understanding the role of a human. It has to be a Vishva Manava. A human should be for the whole world, can't be for himself or his own things or his people. It has to be that expansive understanding of one's existence. That's how Vishwa Manava was coined by him. And he has even explained the qualities of a Vishwa Manava. He has all that in his literature. But towards the end, most of it he has written. But that idea did occur to that poet at some point in time. That's amazing. And I want this idea to occur to every student and staff. If you have worked here and studied here and you haven't got this idea, even this did not even appeal to you, let us say, or did not even fascinate you, then the whole education here is simply gone down the drain, according to me. It's a wasted effort, because you could have got the rest of the education in any school outside, or may not be free like us, but at least to some extent they're free. Maybe there are free schools too. We are different because we are not just limiting ourselves to the basic subject knowledge. If that's all is going to happen in our schools, I'd rather not have that school. Why take the effort of running one? Our students, staff, our volunteers, our devotees, they should be interested in knowing these higher truths. Once you know the truth, truth shall set you free, says Bible. You'll become free. What kind of freedom? This limitedness, worrying about what about me, what about my future, what about my safety, what about my security, what about my health and my death. All these ideas will disappear from your mind. Then you'll become fearless like me. Nobody can capture me, nobody can bind me, nobody can enslave me, because I am not bound to anything or anyone. That's why I don't belong to any place or anywhere. So when I came back, I had a huge dilemma. I felt like Mudanreli is just next stop in my global tour. It didn't even feel like I'm coming back to some place that I belong to. I went to Australia, I went to Fiji, I went to Singapore, I went to Malaysia, I'm come to India next, I'll go somewhere. That is how I felt. I never felt that this is a place that I belong to, that I'm looking forward to desperately come back. Or these are the only people who are mine and rest are all are some foreigners or devotees. No, I felt everybody is mine, every place is mine. All are ours, all are ours. This is a very redeeming and very freeing idea. It takes away a lot of tension, pressure, anxiety, and fear from our minds. Makes us think and understand all the ideas clearly. Our concepts get very clear. Our idea and understanding of life becomes clear. Our ability to do things becomes much better because we are not biased anymore. We are not worried about the outcomes. We are not concerned about what people would think, say, or do. We are so true to ourselves. We are pure and honest then. That is a huge redemption, I tell you. That itself is moksha. Because this is what I am here to teach. That is why Sadguru. I am not medicine guru, I am not English guru, I am not yoga guru. I am not here to teach anything else. Others will learn here and there. I am here to teach only this truth. And I can teach it from my experience. That authority of experience I have. Which is why my words carry weight. Spoken from a scripture, parroting it out, it's not going to help. Even your lecturers in the class, the teacher who knows his subject, who understands his subject, when he speaks, it carries a certain weight and power. Somebody who has just graduated and reads from the book and repeats in the class, who cares about his teaching and learning? So this knowledge is to be experienced to be able to explain. And you know what? Everybody thinks that once you attain this knowledge, you will become some kind of a dry-minded, heartless, cold-blooded, absolutely not interested in anything, a moron like a personality. But do I look like one? See, I dress well, I eat well, I travel well, I speak well, I talk well, I go around doing things as it should be done. I haven't turned into one like that. In fact, I've become better since then. So it is not that. That is why kasya sukham na karoti viragaha. How can a detached person not be happy? Only attached people have to be miserable. Detached person cannot be miserable, says Adi Shankara. And that is what our Hassan boys were chanting from Anandam Mimamsa. Oh, what a joy it was to listen to. They chanted it quite well. Except the Shruti was pretty low. So today I asked them to raise, because Veda should be heard, Uchair Ghoshaya. It should be loud and clear. Because these are truths. We don't say truth small way. When we are happy and we are kind of announcing something or proclaiming something, we don't do it in feeble tones, in low notes. We say it loud and clear. Isn't it? That kind of Vedam chanting is what I wanted to hear. They chanted quite well. Each sentence, as I heard, it reminded me of that great sage, whoever it was, be some nameless sage, they don't want credits for it, who has contributed to that mantra. My God, I was thinking, what amazing concepts these are. Just the idea of those mantras are emancipating. It's fascinating. It's like how he's fascinated by Kuempu's poem. I'm fascinated by the Upanishadic statements. One statement you take whole life, you can chew it and enjoy it. You're never done with it. Only if you experience it. So once again I'm saying, don't put the cart before the horse. Don't become so over pressurizing on academics that you throw away the other idea of paravidya and all that to the back. No. That's why I said this bicycle has two wheels. The front wheel is spiritual education, the back wheel is academic education. And your handle is the mind. And it should be connected to the front wheel, because wherever spirituality is taking you, that's where your mind should go, and that should direct your life. The back wheel will follow simply. This idea of spiritual understanding and development has to be the front wheel, and all the other things, which is the dependent knowledge, has to be the back wheel. Because at the end of it, if you haven't understood this, your life is not redeemed. You are never free. You are ever bound. You are slave to your mind and its vagaries. You can never be free. So if you want freedom and joy of freedom, learn spiritual education. Learn with interest, with Shraddha. Because Shraddhavan Labate Jnanam. Don't do it because I made it compulsory. Don't do it because some teachers are making compulsory and you have to pass in that. No, don't do that. Take some interest and learn. Take some interest in that, because it will redeem you. It will give you the ultimate joy, and you will become Vishva Manava. And you will become infinite. So that is the education that we are striving to teach. Cooperate and participate. I am not expecting this from those who never had an exposure to this, but you have the opportunity to have an exposure. It's like studying for chemistry when the biology exam is there next day. The shock of knowing that you studied all night some other subject. That is what happens to dying moment, the soul thinks, my God, all life I collected money, wealth, positions, power, relatives, and all that. And all that is not important. He said, no, it's not important. Now you're dying, all that is going to be left behind. So, what is important now? You should have learnt about God and godly things and had an experience, even if a little. You haven't had that, none of it is of any use. Leave them behind. So, that fearlessness comes when you know the truth. The truth is that which makes you free, and that is the experience of your own divinity. My only interest is that. I am not interested in anything else. I may work on many projects with all of us, but that is because there are people who have to still fill their bellies and become healthy and get educated so that they are ready to listen to what I have come to say. With a hungry stomach and with a disturbed mind and with emotions running wild, what will they understand of what I am teaching? That's why in our class, see what we have done. All the fees have been removed because I don't want students to even think for a moment, how will my father send this money? What will my mother do if I don't pay the fee? What will happen to my exam if I don't pay the examination fee? Will I be allowed into the class if I have not finished my payments? I don't want them to have any other existential thoughts or thoughts of sufferings, so that they are free in their mind to simply do what needs to be done. That freedom comes because all other things have been taken away, all the worries have been taken away. But your parents don't have to worry, you don't have to worry. Why? So that your mind is free, and in that free mind you can study well, both academic, sports, yoga, music, all that, but more importantly, paravidya. More importantly, spiritual education. If spiritual education is not happening, then I should put all the fees back, I think, because then we are any other school like anywhere else. So we should behave like any other school with all the fees and everything. We are different because we are teaching spiritual education. That is why in spiritual education there was no fee. It is free for all. Academic education is charged. But spirituality, our rishis did not charge for the Upanishads. They did not charge for the knowledge that they have given to us, for the path that they have lit for us. They have always given. So how can I charge for that knowledge? Somebody told me your lectures are quite nice. If you just put $1 per lecture on YouTube, then people can watch. How much money you make? Billions of dollars like that, he said. I told those rishis who taught this truth, they did not bother about dollars and pounds. You think I will bother about them? You do what you've got to do. Self-spirituality, your worldly iha is taken care of. Your education, employment, your stay, your health, everything has been taken care of only with one motivation, that you will develop interest in spirituality and grow spiritually. That is the only motivation why we are doing all these things, not for any other thing. So let me say it once for all, that if you are not interested in spirituality, I am not interested in you. I am not interested in your anything. If you are interested in spirituality, I am very interested in you. So if you are impressing me or with any of your talents and skills, yes, I will accept it as long as it is inspired by your spirituality. Who are not interested in spirituality, and I will never be interested in people who are never interested in spirituality. This is my thought, this is my heart. So much of projects and service activities, and I'll keep taking care of the organization, so many people. That itself occupies my mind and all my thoughts. But satsangs are meant to discuss these things. But I hope that you will put some efforts, develop a taste for it by constantly consuming it. Your tongue just develops a taste for a thing that you eat often. Likewise, hopefully your mind will develop deep taste for spirituality. Then our efforts to educate you, both in para apara, will be successful. With these words, I conclude.